And that's real talk. What's good, Real Talk family? It's your girl Brizzy, and we back at it again on the channel. Hey, this is your first time stopping to the channel though, well, welcome. Feel free to subscribe to the channel if you enjoy content like this. And without further ado, you already know, let's just get into it, guys. So when it's coming down to you as a person paying your credit cards correctly, you want to make great decisions when it's coming down paying it strategically, because you don't want to be in a place where you have to not only spend time, but you losing money and you can't scale up to them high limit credit cards that you want to, get to. And not only that, you want to be also too optimizing the utilization sector, so that way, you can get the whole maximum amount of points within that sector. That way your score won't be stagnated, or you see your score keep plummeting and going down, all because you don't know, okay, how should I be, using my cards and paying them the correct way. When it's coming down to paying your credit cards, you have two important dates that you want to keep in mind. You have your due date and you have your statement date. Or also too, you hear people say the statement closing date. Now with the due date, this is the date that reports to the bank. And then this is the date that it reports to the credit bureau. So with the due date that you want to keep in mind is, with this date, you want to be making on-time payments. That's the goal with this, on-time payments. You also too, you don't want to be getting any late fees, all because you can't make on-time payments. Another thing too, with the due date is, you don't want to be paying interest. Those are three things I recommend with the due date: making your payments on time, so that way your card is in good standing. You don't want to have any late fees, all because you can't make on-time payments. And you want to also to avoid paying interest. So those are the three things I would highly recommend and that you should keep in mind when it's coming down to the due date. Now with your statement date, this is what makes or break your credit score. So meaning your credit score is going to go up, or it's going to go down, or it may stay the same. If you're not using a card, it just all depends on you and your activity with that card. So these are the two dates that you want to keep in mind when it's coming down to paying your credit cards. Now, I'll give an example on how I pay my credit cards, because it's a lot of this and that and what to do, and this is how I pay mine. But this is the way in which you should be paying your credit card. So like I just stated, you have two important dates. So let's say my Navy Federal credit card. My due date is the 8th, and my statement date is the 14th. With this card, this limit is $2K, and I'm just throwing out one of my cards. I got other cards, but this one is $2K. So the due date, which is the date it reports to the bank. Let's say I had an outstanding debt for the last billing cycle. I had, let's say I had $1,000. I done spent some paper, so I done spent $1K. So with this, okay, well, my utilization for the month, it's at 50%. Now, how you would calculate this, for those who don't know how to calculate that, you'll basically take your limit of the credit card and you'll divide it by the actual limit of that card. And excuse my handwriting, y'all. I don't really got the best handwriting, but yeah, that's how you calculate it. So that'll be 1,000 over $2,000. That should give you 0.5, which is 50%. And how you would change that into a percentage, you'll do 1,000 and not divided, excuse me. You'll take that and multiply it by 100, and that should give you 50%. That's how you turn it back into a percent. But yeah, so I'm at 50%. So how I would pay my credit card is, how Bree do it is, I'll pay 2 days before the due date, which is the 8th, and I will pay it down to basically zero. Pay it down to 0%. Now the reason being Bree will pay it down to 0% is, once again, like I stated, you don't want to be paying interest. You also too, on time payment. Keep your card in good standing. And guess what? I'm not paying any late fees, you know. So those are the reasons why you will pay your card down to zero. So that way, you know, you don't have to worry about that. And then once the statement day come, which will be like at least 6 days before the 14th, you'll want to basically report a 1 to 3% on the card. So that way, you know, it's showing, okay, you know, she kept her utilization low and you reporting a small balance. Now, when you don't report no balance, that's letting the credit bureaus know, like, okay, you know, is she using a card? Like, what's going on? You see what I'm saying? So, and also too, 10% is okay. For those who wonder, okay, can I report 10%? 10% is cool. That's cool. 10% or lower is cool, but ideally you want to be 1 to 3%. But yeah, you know what I'm saying? You don't want to be not reporting anything, because then it shows, okay, is she using a card? No, you don't want to be reporting like that. I have also too, I done had, you know, things like said to me, okay, well, what if, you know, I can't pay the whole card off, you know, I can only afford to pay the minimum. So the minimum, let's say, is $20, which it is, for just, you know, for the due date. So you just making an on-time payment of $20. Okay, cool. Yeah, you have an on-time payment, you know. But the thing, when you pay your card just $20 and not paying out the full amount, you'll be paying interest, and if you don't clear, also too, you'll have a late fee. So you got to keep those things in mind. And all of that, you'll also too be reporting pretty much that high utilization, which you don't want, because like I told y'all before, it'll make or break your score. So you want to keep your utilization within 1 to 3%. You know, 10% or lower is good, but you want to be right here, because you'll get at least 50 points or better when you reporting within that range. So your girl will pay it down to zero 2 days before the 8th, and then after the 8th, I'll basically go to, you know, the store, and I'll buy, you know, maybe like some candy or something small. Keep it, like I said, between 1 and 3%, and just have that report to the credit bureaus. Then after the 14th, you want to wait at least 2 days. Give it that 2-day window for the report to the credit bureaus, and then boom, okay, now you can use that card again. And the reason why I say, you know, give it that 2-day window is because you have sometime holidays. So that's why it goes back to what I said at the beginning. You want to be using your car strategic, because you sometimes these dates, they fall on, let's say, a weekend, and then you don't shoot, you see the 14th, after 14 you swiping your car and you like, okay, you know what I'm saying? Like, no, sometimes you have to wait and then let it report, then you can use a car. So that's why I highly recommend, you know, the 2-day window, because if your statement date it follows on a weekend, you know what I'm saying, at least you're not reporting that high utilization, which you don't want to do. So that's how you do that. And yeah, so yeah, you guys, the 2 days, once again, recap, you want to keep in mind is your due date, and you want to keep in mind your statement date or the statement closing date. They both the same thing, but the most important date that you want to keep in mind is the statement closing date or the statement date. And the reason being because that's the date that it reports to the credit bureaus, and all of that, that's what makes or break your credit score. Now the due date is important too, but it's only important because that's the date that it reports to the bank, the issuer. So the most important date, you guys, is the statement or the statement closing date. But yeah, that's pretty much it. You guys got any questions, you know what I'm saying, y'all can hit your girl up, you know, I'll give more clarity. But yeah, I really appreciate you guys, and as always, until next time, you already know, I'll see y'all later.